But we are told that President Trump tonight will say there is never been a better time to be an American. That's a point that might cause some debate. He also calls on, quote, both parties to come together for an infrastructure plan. I'm duty-bound as a journalist to note that the White House has not released an infrastructure plan for Congress to vote on. That is sometimes the type of thing that is done along with this kind of language or rhetoric, but we will be watching tonight to see what accompanies the rhetoric. Now we turn to, as promised, a debate to hear from both sides. Two guests with major political experience. Madison Gesiotto, a former Trump campaign advisor and an advisor to a Trump diversity coalition. She's a conservative analyst and a graduate of Moritz College of Law at Ohio State University, and she's made the rounds on Fox News and elsewhere on behalf of Donald Trump. And back with me, Reverend Al Sharpton, who, as I mentioned, has covered the last 6 State of the Unions for MSNBC. Let me begin with you, Madison. What do you think is the most important part of the story Donald Trump can tell tonight?
The economy, the economy, the economy. Let me tell you, one thing he's going to focus strongly on tonight is the success we've seen economically over the past year. Consumer confidence, 17-year high. Unemployment, 17-year low. Just as he said, he's passed, along with the work of Congress as well, the tax reform and tax cut bill that's now a law, and over 3 million Americans have seen, a bonus because of that, $1,000, sometimes more, and that's a lot of money to people where I come from. That's a lot of money that they can use to pay for a whole year of school lunches for their kids, to pay for their electric bill. So many things they can do with that money, and I think they're really excited about that, and I know he's going to hit on that tonight, along with, of course, infrastructure, immigration, and other issues, national security being one that he talked a lot about on the campaign, that Madison, he's made great strides on as well.
You mentioned the economic record. You clearly have something similar on your mind to Chuck Schumer, because Rev, he also notes some of these indicators, but argues they are a long-term reflection of other policies. Take a listen. Chuck Schumer. Here's what he said. He said, quote, "Two words I don't think we'll hear tonight on the economy. Thanks, Obama."
Well, I think that if the president is to take Madison's suggestion and talk about jobs and talk about the economy and talk about all of these wonderful economic blessings we've had, he'd have to say, and thank you, President Obama. There is nothing, zero, this president can cite that he's done in this first year that he has done policy-wise or legislatively that has resulted in the economy that they're trying to give him credit for. All you have to do is say, I did this and therefore this happened. Other than that, you'd have to admit that you were riding a wave. You were a boat on a wave. You were not the one that was the water that was the wave that we were coming in on. That's like Thanksgiving dinner. My mother labors over the stove. I bring it out of the kitchen into the dining room, put some salt and pepper on, and talk about how great we prepared the meal. I just seasoned a meal that was already prepared. So he should do everything Madison says, but he should say, thank you, President Obama, after every line. Immigration, I don't think he really wants to bring that up. If he comes with this 1.8 million that he's going to bring to citizenship, but he's going to do all these other hard things for them to get it, like in the family kinds of immigration, like his wall, he's going to alienate half the hall and most of the public watching. And if he goes softer, he's going to get Breitbart on him again. So he better stay away from that. I think he's got to be very careful about talking about bringing Americans together unless he's talking about far-right white males.
Well, Madison, let me go back to you. First of all, full disclosure, I'm not above seasoning some takeout food and trying to make it seem like I was involved. But that is the rhetorical rebuttal Rev offers you, that the president that you're advocating for is basically acknowledging gains that reflect the Obama policies. Is that a pickle for him?
You know, unlike the two of you, I'm in the kitchen cooking. And let me tell you, since January 20th, 2017, our president has been in there working with his administration, specifically on the economy. This is something that he knows well, and as a businessman, he has worked firsthand and saw the effect that things like overregulation can have on businesses and can have on the economy. So over the past year, for every one regulation that's been put in place, they've cut 22. Last year, when Obama left office, there was the highest number of regulations logged in the Federal Register that we've ever seen in the history of this country. country, nearing 100,000 regulations. In one short year, we've cut that down to under 70,000, I think around 62,000 actually. On top of that, just like he promised, as I said before, tax cuts and tax reform have been huge, and that is going to continue to be huge as we continue to see this economy grow and people have faith in this country. As we saw last week in Davos, he gave a great speech. Many liberals gave him credit on this as well. And, you know, when it came to that, he was asking people to reinvest in America.
Right.
He wasn't talking about elitism or globalism. He went to these big business leaders and to these other leaders of other countries and said, hey, America is the place where you want to invest right now. Bring your money back to this country. And that's what people are doing.
And I got to fit in a break. Madison Gesiotto, always appreciate your perspective and the back and forth with Rev Sharpton. Also, you can catch Rev Sharpton on